All right, I just wanted to take a moment to quickly explain how I use frequency separation to create a super sharp foreground for Wandering Star, which is this night photograph that I captured with NeoEyes. And I did this using frequency separation by taking an image that I shot later that same day, 5 a.m. actually, and using the sharpness of being able to shoot this at f11 at 2 seconds and replacing this foreground, which looked like this, with a much higher fidelity, higher detailed image of the trees. So what I did was I used frequency separation over time. And what that means is this foreground is a 20-minute exposure and the sky is a 15-second exposure. And then I used a 5 a.m. photograph to just lift this texture and the sharpness from this image and put it over here. How did I do that? So frequency separation is pretty simple once you know what you're doing. So I duplicated this layer and I actually duplicated it again, and then I blur the bottom image so that I can do something pretty cool in the next step. So I use median, which is actually in the noise layer, but what I like about median is that it doesn't distort or doesn't blur edges where it finds them. So we go median, and then I use a 6-pixel edit, and you can see that it just blurs the trees, but it also leaves all of the edges intact. So I hit OK. And the next step is to apply this image to the bottom image. And what happens when you go over to image and then apply image and then you choose, you want to apply layer 1 copy to layer 1 using subtract as your application mode. And what happens here, if we can zoom in, is that this application is going to separate what the computer sees as texture with the tone that is below. So I'm gonna hit OK, and then I'm going to fit this back into our screen. And I'm going to go over to my blend mode and put this in linear light. So the result is you have the same image you had before. If I turn these two off, they're gone. It looks the same. Put it back on, there it is. But I have separated the texture and the tone. What I like to do from here, something I learned from Seth McCullough, is I like to duplicate this image and then apply it to the bottom. Don't worry about that crispy look. You're going to change this back to normal. And what you get when you do this is the ability to edit this texture layer without actually ruining it. So if I mess up on this layer, then I can simply duplicate this one and start over without having to do the entire process all over again. So what I did here is I copied these two, or well, let's say we labeled this sharp and then sharp. And then I copied these layers and put them here. And then it's already masked out of the sky. So I have the sharpness layer giving me all of the detail from the daytime photograph while not actually changing the bottom or the base image. So I have daytime sharpness on a nighttime landscape.